2 Chicago Fire stars leaving after season 13. Chicago Fire fans should perhaps gear up to say goodbye to 2 stars of the show. Deadline reports that Daniel Carey, who portrays firefighter Darren Ritter, and Jake Lockett, who portrays firefighter Sam Carver, will not be returning to the Dick Wolf Chicago series if it is renewed for season 14. Sources tell Deadline that the Wolf shows are negotiating many of the series' cast members' contracts that are up for renewal in a cost-saving measure. The publication said that there could be more departures across all Wolf properties, which includes Fire, Chicago PD, Chicago Med, Law and Order, and Law and Order, SVU. Since production has not wrapped on season 13 yet, so Carey and Lockett will hopefully be able to resolve their characters' storylines and get a proper send-off for the characters. Carey started on Chicago Fire as Ritter back in 2018 during season 7. He was promoted to a series regular 2 years later during season 9. Lockett joined the show in 2022 for season 11 as firefighter Sam Carver. He too was recurring for 2 years like Carey before being promoted to series regular in season 11. Carey took to Instagram back in February to show his appreciation for the fans and those he works with on the show alongside a series of photos from the set. On the post, he wrote, "Cheers. If you're reading this, thank you for watching or supporting or playing or adding to my life in any way. Y'all know who you are. Thank you. I'm feeling grateful for you wonderful people." This budget-saving measure comes on heels of Deadline reporting 2 years ago that the number of episodes for series regulars on the Dick Wolf shows was reduced from the usual 22 to 18 to 20 in order to cut costs. The rumble of Ladder 81's engine echoed down the street, but inside Firehouse 51, the mood was quieter than anyone could remember. It wasn't a false alarm or a slow day. It was the day the crew was forced to face something they all dreaded, saying goodbye to 2 of their own. Captain Matthew Casey once said the Firehouse wasn't just a job. It was a family forged in the smoke and heat of the worst days of people's lives. That bond wasn't broken easily. But as the shift began, a simple white envelope taped to the bulletin board had turned everyone's stomachs into knots. Inside were 2 letters of resignation, not just one, belonging to 2 of the most beloved members of 51. Rumors had been swirling for weeks. Whispers in the locker room. Quiet conversations in the hallway. Sylvie Brett had been seen taking extra calls from the hospital administrator. Joe Cruz was spotted staying late in the apparatus bay, just staring at Squad 3's rig like he was memorizing every dent and scratch. Still, no one had wanted to say the words out loud. That morning, Chief Bowden called everyone into the common room. His deep voice was calm, but the heaviness in it was unmistakable. "Family," he began, looking at each face. "We're here to do what we've always done. Face what's in front of us head-on. Cruz, Brett, you have the floor." Sylvie stepped forward first, her paramedic uniform neatly pressed, her blonde hair pulled into the familiar ponytail that had weathered years of calls. She took a breath, and for a moment it looked like she might try to smile. "I didn't think I'd ever find a place that felt like home again after Fallerton," she said softly. "Then I came here. 51 didn't just give me a job, it gave me a family. You all gave me a reason to get up every morning, even on the hard days. But I've been offered a position heading a new community paramedicine program in Oregon. It's an opportunity to make a difference in a way I've been dreaming about for years. So this is my last tour." Mouch rubbed the back of his neck, looking away. Herman folded his arms tight, his jaw set. No one interrupted. Cruz cleared his throat and stepped beside her. His voice was rougher, the kind that came from holding too much inside. "I didn't think I could ever find my footing again," Cruz said. But this house, this squad, you pulled me through it. You made me better. But Chloe and we've been talking, and with the boys getting older, I need to be there more. A teaching position opened up at the academy. I'll still be training firefighters, just not riding out with you. Which is harder than I thought it'd be to say. The silence in the room wasn't awkward. It was the kind that came from respect. Everyone knew how much weight those decisions carried. For the rest of the shift, little moments stuck out like snapshots. Stella Kid found Cruz in the locker room and pressed Squad 3's challenge coin into his palm. Keep this, so you never forget you're still one of us. Callow and Ritter kept busy restocking the rigs, though both kept sneaking glances at Brett like they were memorizing her laugh. When the alarm tones dropped that afternoon, a structure fire in a 3-story walk-up, the crew didn't hesitate. The turnout gear was on in seconds, the trucks roared to life, and for a little while, it was like nothing was changing. Brett was in the thick of it, triaging victims on the sidewalk, her voice steady and reassuring. Cruz was deep inside the building with Severide, hauling a trapped tenant down the stairs. It was only when they were back at the firehouse, suit-streaked and exhausted, that reality settled in again. That night, Bowden organized something rare, a send-off in the common room. Pizza boxes were stacked high. Someone had dug out an old photo album, and on the TV, a slideshow of Cruz and Brett's best, and most embarrassing, moments played on loop. There was Brett, covered in cake frosting after Gallo's birthday prank. Cruz trying to teach Cap and Tony salsa dancing. The night they all piled into Molly's after a rough call and laughed until last call. Herman raised his glass first, to Brett, for being the heart of this house, and to Cruz, for being the soul of Squad 3. Don't think this means you can't still get roped into filling in when we're short-handed. The laughter broke the tension, but when it was time for speeches, things turned bittersweet again. Stella's voice cracked when she told Brett, "You've saved more lives than you'll ever know, including some of ours. Don't forget that." Severide clasped Cruz's shoulder, a rare softness in his expression. "You're one of the best partners I've ever had. You made Squad 3 stronger. That's not something that ends just because you're at the academy." Finally, Brett and Cruz stood together one last time as active members of 51. "This isn't goodbye," Brett said, glancing around at the faces she loved. "It's just a change of station." "Yeah," Cruz added with a small smile. "And when you guys inevitably get into trouble, you know I'll be the first one Bowden calls to come bail you out." They left the next morning in separate cars, but each paused in the apparatus bay before walking out the side door. Brett ran her hand along the side of Ambulance 61, the vehicle that had carried her through countless calls. Cruz touched the front bumper of Squad 3 almost like it was alive. Outside, the city carried on like nothing had changed. Inside Firehouse 51, there was a quiet ache. But there was also pride. Because in this line of work, the people you love will always move on eventually. And the only thing you can do is make sure they leave knowing exactly how much they meant. Later that week, a rookie in the firehouse asked Mouch how long it took to stop missing people who left. Mouch just smiled sadly. "You don't," he said. "You just get used to the empty chair. And then one day, you look over and realize the people you miss. They're still right here," he tapped his chest, "riding with you."